Confidence is not something that your child is born with. It's something that you have to earn. One great thing about jujitsu is you're going to have times, especially early on when you're first starting, where you're going to lose a lot. The only thing you can do is quit or get up and keep pushing forward. For those kids who get up and keep pushing forward after losing time and time again, eventually those kids are going to be getting submitted 3 times around, and now they're only getting submitted 1 time around. Or maybe now they're getting some submissions for themselves. And once they get over that hump, and it takes a long time, 3 months, sometimes 6 months, and some kids, it might take longer than that. Those kids, once they get over that hump, you see them walking around differently. Once they get over that 6 month hump, I think the parents see a different kid. You hear it time and time again, these kids who have stories about getting picked on, and now the bullies are leaving them alone, because the truth is a bully wants an easy target, someone that they can pick on who won't fight back. But once they see that kid walking around with their shoulders back and their head up, and they're confident, they know how to defend themselves, those bullies are going to look for a new target to pick on, because they don't want to pick on someone who can fight back. And that's the greatest thing about jiu-jitsu, is it gives you those tools that you need to be able to walk around confidently, and gives yourself the ability to defend yourself. So no matter what situation you end up in, you can handle yourself, right? And that's where the confidence comes from, is if I know I can defend myself, that now means I can stand up for myself. So if someone's picking on me, I can tell them to go away. Or if someone's doing something that I don't agree with, the worst thing that can happen if I get in a disagreement is it gets to the point where someone's trying to fight me. Well, if I know I can defend myself, it gives me the ability to speak up. I think that's the greatest thing about jiu-jitsu, is it just gives you the ability to defend yourself, and then in turn, that level of confidence that you get when you're starting to win in the gym, and then you can protect yourself and you're a stronger person. It's just awesome to see with the kids. But the hardest part about all of it is, when that kid does come in who's maybe getting picked on, and he is struggling early on in the gym, and they don't see the vision of where I could be in 6 months versus where I am now. And maybe they're going against guys in the gym who've been training with us for a year or 2 years, and they're losing to those guys. But when you break it down and you understand that, hey, you've only been training for 2 months, this guy's been training for 2 years, there's a big level difference there. But think about where you could be if you train for 2 years, and there's new kids coming into the gym, and you understand the technique, you listen good. That's where you could be if you stick it out. I think that's where so many parents go wrong, is they pull their kids out too early because they're maybe not seeing success early on, comparing their child to other kids, or the kids are comparing themselves to the other kids. Comparing yourself to the other kids in the room can be your worst enemy, because it can give you doubt and ruin your confidence and make you, kind of second guess what the heck you're doing on the mats. But the truth of it all is, the kids who stick it out are the ones who go the furthest and get the benefits of the jiu-jitsu training that everyone is talking about. The confidence, the self-defense, the mental toughness, right? The kids who quit early, they never get to see those benefits. I think the biggest way that you can support your child when they are trying to get over that hump is, instead of trying to tell them what to do, if you see something on the sidelines, as their parent, when you tell your kid, hey, why aren't you doing this? Why didn't you keep fighting? Why did you do this? They feel like they're in trouble, and they don't respond to mom and dad giving them that constructive criticism, as well as the coach. When the coach says that, they listen. They're able to receive it differently, versus when they hear their mom or dad saying that, it can feel more like you're cutting them down than trying to help them and give them advice. So what we encourage our parents to do at our gym is talk to the coaches. Let us know what you see. If you see something that's going on, and your child needs help, let us help them, because they're going to receive the information completely different versus you telling them versus us telling them. We really like if we can help your kids. I think it's just received differently. Another thing is, on the car ride home, this is where a lot of parents in sports ruin their kids, where they say, why didn't you try harder? Why aren't you doing this when he does this? And that just takes all the fun out of sports in general, football, baseball, wrestling, jujitsu, whatever you're doing. When they hear that, it just makes them hate whatever they're doing. And I think the best thing to do is just be encouraging and let them know that I saw some good things. I like to tell my wrestling parents and jiu-jitsu parents, tell them 2 or 3 good things that they did at practice, because that's going to make them feel way better about themselves, even though maybe it's not the best practice. If you note down 2 or 3 things, it can kind of help them see that long-term vision of where they could be versus where they are now, and just help keep their head straight while they're on their journey. So one other thing that separates jiu-jitsu from other children's sports like basketball, football, soccer is your kid is getting in a fight every practice. And that sounds scary, but we got coaches, we got mats, we got wall mats, we got training partners, we got rules. So your child is overall in a safe place, but they are putting themselves in a fight or flight position where they are under stress and there's a lot of emotions going around for them. But the best time to be exposed to that is in an environment where it is safe and there's people watching and you got training partners who are your friends who care about your well-being. So I think the best thing about jiu-jitsu is it's the closest thing to being in a fight and you having to defend yourself. We do live sparring where you're going against another opponent and trying to put them in a position where they can no longer continue the fight, right? In turn, your child is going to get put in an uncomfortable position where they're getting an arm wrapped around their neck or they're getting choked with the lapel. And early on, we advise that it's a good idea to tap early. Later on, as you get better, you might be able to fight the choke longer and you're uncomfortable, but you can keep pushing forward and you feel like you can still fight out. And that sort of stress management, being able to stay calm in a stressful position while your neck is getting cranked on and you're super uncomfortable, but you're not tapping because you can fight and get out. That's what builds that toughness. I think one of the best things that a parent could do right now is get their kid involved in jiu-jitsu, especially while they're young. It just is going to have such a positive impact on their life. There's plenty of good jiu-jitsu gyms out there. We're here in Moscow Mills, Missouri. With jiu-jitsu growing so fast, there's so many good places to train with great coaches.